Okay, so we are then calling into order our December 1st board meeting of the Consortium of Lake Area Senior Services. Thanks everyone for being here. Um, we are recording this for our note-taking purposes, but then also Katie Everett's going to take notes along with it. We have a running agenda of notes that you can keep up with as well. And so we have got Scott is here despite illness. Thanks for being here, Scott. So I'm going to run the meeting today because he's a little under the weather. So I'll be the co-president in charge of running this. Scott's here as well. Katie's here. We do have a quorum, which is great. And we wanted to quickly just thank and address the potential new board members who are joining us. So Deb Bland, Allison Bybee, and Luetta Larson are all here today. Thank you so much. Oh, there's Lynn. There she is. So let's get Lynn in here too. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us today and for raising your hand and saying that you want to be a part of the class board. It means a lot to us, and each of you bring some unique skills to our board that I think are going to be really valuable and make a big difference for us. So let's just go in the order on the agenda here and start with Deb and just invite you to introduce yourself and just kind of let us know what Katie sent you a sheet in there that you can click open to see if you want to use that as your kind of template for what you'd like to say for your board nomination, or you can just tell us why you're here and what you look forward to in bringing to class and getting from class.
Sure. My name is Deb Bland. I am with Ling Bloomston at Lino Lakes. I've been there for a year. I have been in senior care for 46 plus years. I was retired. I came out of retirement, was provoked and poked from Lake Bloomston. And so I took them up. So I'm part-time. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as their marketing director. But that is my background as working as a marketing director. Out of the 40 plus years, 46 plus years, 30 of it was with Good Samaritan Society. And I always found myself to be drawn to more community advocate, getting out there. How can we share? What can we do to help families that are looking for services, that kind of thing? I was a part of on the board for St. Paul Senior Workers for many, many years. And then when I retired, I came off of the board. I just wanted to see if somebody else could come in, and I was able to promote Logan, and so he took over membership, that type of thing. But I remain a member and I'm still active. But with being in Ling Bloomston, that area, I was looking for committees, groups that work in our area that's dedicated to working with communities and services, senior services, and getting them acclimated, getting them whatever they need. And class seems to fit that mold for me. I have talked to our marketing team and that about class, and Julie is part of it. And so I just thought this would be a really good stepping stone for me to get comfortable with the community and learning you guys on what's going on, what you do, and then just kind of moving forward. My nickname is the Connector, and I believe in helping people wherever I can. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Very passionate. Sorry about background noise. Um, but very passionate about what I get to do. Even part-time, it's 5 days squished into three. And so just getting out into the community, part of the chamber, all those kinds of things entices me. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Deb. And we'll go next on the list. Allison, if you want to chime in and say, what you're looking to get from the board experience and what you hope to bring.
Hi guys. I'm Allison Bybee. I'm with Encore Assisted Living over in Matamidi. Um, Similar experience, not as much experience as Deb, but I meet a lot of people, a lot of seniors who just need resources. And I just want to be a person who can provide resources. So I I feel like a lot of the other networking groups that I'm in are more about, promoting my business. What's your business? How my business, me, right? But this group is more towards how can we help the seniors? How can we help our community? And so that's what I want to be is a resource to the people in the community. So no matter how much money they have or don't have, there's a ton of resources out there that people just don't know about. So the more I learn, the more I can kind of help pass that information along. So that's what I want to do.
Awesome. Thank you. That's wonderful. And then Luetta, if you would like to chime in as well, and just a little bit about what you're looking for from the board and what you'd like to bring to the board.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. I am a realtor and I work with Keller Williams Realty. My focus is to help seniors transition from their single family homes that they're in and into senior living or even one level living if they're not ready for senior living. And like Allison said, my goal is not to promote my business, but to really work with all of you to have all of the proper connections in place to help the seniors the best that I possibly can. So if somebody wants to move to Lino Lakes or somewhere similar, then I already know Deb and I can connect the two of them. I'm going to be connector number two after Deb. So my whole purpose of class is I just want to be more involved. It is I've really enjoyed coming to the every other month events that we've had and talking with all of you and getting to know you better. And by being part of the board, it will help me just solidify that even more and get more involved and help you all wherever I can help.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So we just wanted you to come on and introduce yourselves and let us know who you are, and we will, as the board, be voting later for you as a slate. I don't see a lot of contention coming up in this voting situation, but so we will vote. We'll vote in your absence. So we'll boot you out of here. But in the meantime, if you wanted to, it's down a few items on the agenda. So if you wanted to stick around and just sort of see what we talk about and see how our board meetings go, you're welcome to stay. You do not have to. But then we will ask you to bounce out when we do the actual board voting. So feel free to stay, or if you've got things that you have to do, you can definitely go. No judgment will be passed either way.
Taylor, should we do quick introductions of current board members so the potential new folks know who we are as well?
You bet. Let's do that. I love it. Why don't we start with you, Katie? You just volunteered yourself. I love it.
Great. I am Katie Everett. I'm the Recreation and Facilities Manager with the City of Venice Heights. So I do all of the Parks and Rec stuff. We do some direct to senior programs here. We do a lot of partnerships with other groups. And then I also do stuff for all ages, and I get to do some park projects as well. And I've been around class. I started with the city in 2019. So sometime around then, and just really enjoy being able to have some trusted people in the community to kind of send people to when they call City Hall. So I will pass it over to Jess.
Hey all, I am the client care manager with Amada, and I've been coming to class, well, maybe just over a year. I joined the board a year ago and started coming shortly before that. And I think that Allison, I think you said it. You really nailed it for me. It's different. This network group and these group of people are just different. The way that we gather together and why it's different in this network group based on other. I've been to many, and this has always been my favorite. And I feel like it just is so helpful to gain all those resources that are represented here. And so my role with the MATA, I do client cares, I do the intakes and assessments, I go out to their homes and make sure things are going well, introduce the caregivers. But my main focus is VA, so helping those veterans get connected to services, just getting them a start, getting them connected to healthcare and benefits, whatever help they need, just kind of seeing them through that process. And if that need is with some care in the home, then also helping with that.
You want to take someone else, Jess?
Oh, yep, sorry. Let's do Kate.
Because I had to drive from a client, but I'm Kate Gable and I um have two businesses, Kate's Musical Memories, which is really what led me to class, and then KG Freelance, which led me to helping build the website that class now has. Um, I've really enjoyed the connections that this group has made. And really, my focus came in during the pandemic, where we had to transition through a lot of this virtual stuff that is now commonplace. But I've really enjoyed the opportunities of connecting with different people from various backgrounds that serve seniors. And my role as I'm a trained music therapist. I go into nursing homes, assisted livings, group homes, and I also teach music out of my home. And it's always about the individual. So um, it's great to have a community that supports the care of those who need it most. So I'm going to tag Allie.
Hello, my name is Allie Lukin. I am the Activity Center Coordinator for the City of Lino Lakes. I oversee and run pretty much all of our senior programs, all of our youth and family programs. I do all of our sports programs, and then I also oversee all of our citywide special events. So that's kind of what's under my little umbrella here. I was just thinking, Katie Everett is the one who introduced me to class years ago, and I'm trying to think. I was pregnant with Matilda at the time, so it had to have been like 4 years ago because she'll be 4 in February. So, but yeah, I joined on, and I think what I found too is that it was a good resource for me because, like Katie, we become like the walking phone book for every single senior because they don't know where else to start. And so they call the city, and half the time the city receptionist doesn't know what to do with them. So they send it to me. And at least then I have names and I have numbers and I know which direction to point them at. So I feel really grateful to be connected to all of you guys because you are my walking phone book because I don't know everything. So I can point them at least in the right direction. So let's do Julia.
Hi, everybody. Julia Wolf. I lead the Healthy Aging Initiative at St. Paul Ramsey County Public Health. I'm a non-voting member of the board, I think. Think that's what I am. And I bring resources when I have them and share information and also get information from you all. I'm actually going to drop Meals on Wheels puts together, for some of y'all who don't know, a yearly, I think it's like 4 pages of resources for older adults in Ramsey County. So the 2026 version is available on their website. So I'll just drop the link into there. But if you're looking for it, you can just look for Wheels on Meals Ramsey County, and there's a link, a little tab on their website for it. So is there anybody else left? John? Oh, and Lynn. John?
Yes, I am just going to get on my laptop. That's my basement ceiling that you can see there. So we're going to go to Lynn, and then Lynn's going to go back to me, where I will be able to sit and
Okay,
have a.
gotcha. And I don't know, maybe I missed Scott, but he might have not introduced himself either. Julia, I think I just finally met your Washington County counterpart in public health over here.
Yeah.
You're kind of a standard out there. People are like, we don't do everything Julia does, but
Well, no pressure or anything,
that's how they all start. Yes, now I'm in a different county, so I get to compare and contrast. I'm Lynn Ammon. I work at Family Means here in Stillwater, mostly servicing Washington County, but we actually virtually, as a caregiver coach, anybody from the Twin Cities, our funding does come through the Metro Area Agency on Aging. We have both virtual and in-person support groups that me and my coworker, social worker, facilitate, and do a lot of education and empowerment for those living with dementia in some of the earlier stages. We have an OT on our staff, and we do memory cafes and memory screenings at many events and things like that. So scoping a lot of dementia support, but mostly with caregivers and then early stage in the journey. And I have only been here since April in this role, but I have been a social worker in the field of aging for 34 years. I had to do some math last week. I went to speak to a class of social workers in River Falls, and I'm like, oh, I guess I have to announce the 34-year number. It makes me feel like I should be 100 or something. But I've been with class since 2018, I think. Yes, was sort of part of the gateway of the transitioning into the current board as it is now, when it was becoming more officially integrated in the Northeast Metro. And so love what it's becoming, love what it's been, and glad to see some new faces amongst us all today. Great energy in this group. I just want to echo what others have said. There's a uniqueness. I've been on lots of different boards and community, and there's a small, I don't know how to say this, like a small town feel going on here. Okay, lots of head nodding. We're not all from the small communities, but we operate like one. So please use us that way. Please send out a SOS or, hey, what do you know? Because that's how we want to. That's how we get things done, and that's the feather in our cap. So, yeah. All right, Scott or John. Looks like John's back in the group here.
I am.
Right.
My name is John Slade. I am the senior organizer for the Metropolitan Interfaith Council on Affordable Housing. So I spend time talking to people, either advocating myself or talking to folks within faith communities or organizations like all y'all are part of, to work on issues of shelter, affordable housing, public transit. Those are the issues that Micah works on. I also was kind of the Lynn generation of class folk, because senior housing, senior affordable housing is the big overlap for me here. I am also super interested that the mayor-elect of the city of White Bear Lake was talking about a Pioneer Manor South. Pioneer Manor is the senior housing that's owned by the city of White Bear Lake. And Mary Nikolowski thinks that the intersection of B2 and it's that intersection right by, which is it? There were 4 old gas stations there.
Oh, County Road E.
County Road E and B2. Yeah, it might be
County Road E and 120.
Yep. Might be a place to
Bel Air. Sorry, Bel Air.
Bel Air. Yep. Thank you.
You're right. There is one corner left that has nothing on it yet.
There you go. Anyway, so perhaps that will happen. Yeah, I don't do service provision. But I am very interested in networking. I work with congregations up in y'all's areas and bring the kind of the faith piece where it's not just about business networking, it's also about the heart that we bring here. And that we were able to bring and share with each other, particularly during COVID, because as you all know, the industry got pretty badly shelled by new demands and new work and pain and things. And so we were able to open our hearts as well as our virtual hands to each other. So there we go. And Scott Olson, if he is available and or well enough to come on, as I think hasn't checked in.
Hi, team. Yeah, I am a little under the weather today, so A little bit of a tough Thanksgiving weekend, and I will spare you the gory details because I did not put any makeup on today. So, um, I am the community transportation coordinator for New Tracks, a nonprofit in White Bear Lake, and the outgoing president for class. And I think I've had some form of presidential whatever for the last 5 to 6 years with class. And I do intend to stay aboard as a board member.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone. And I'm Taylor Johnson, and I work for Mueller Memorial. We are a family-owned funeral home based out of the east side of St. Paul and up here in White Bear Lake. That's where my office is. And we have a brand that leans toward or focuses entirely on more sustainable disposition options called Interra Green Burial by Mueller Memorial. It's a signature service of our funeral home. So we are, we talk about a lot of aging things, and unfortunately, the end game of all aging is ends up at a place like ours, and we want to make sure that we are, people are prepared for when that's going to happen, and we want to help take some of the fear and the stigma and the scariness and the daunting task of talking about death and funerals and what people want their ultimate end of life to look like. So I love this group. I got involved in class way before it was even class, when it started with a survey and a community getting together with Lynn and with Tara and the whole group of people saying, how are we going to help aging seniors in the White Bear Lake area? That turned into a survey that turned into focusing on service needs, and those needs were identified as transportation, housing, and services. So they really focused in those avenues, and we are always kind of keeping an eye on those needs that people are going to have as they get older and as they get older in our community. So this is, again, I'm just going to reiterate what other people have said, is this is such a special group because we're all about supporting seniors themselves. Like we come to this to say, okay, how can we do better for the people that we serve? And also there's a great community of support amongst senior service providers. We all have a commonality, and that we have a passion for caring for people who are aging in our community. And how do we help them? How do we make their lives better and safer and more sustainable where we live? So I love this group, and I'm so happy to be I'm the incoming president for a month, and I'm the outgoing president next year, and sort of the de facto treasurer as well at this point. So I appreciate everybody for being here. I'm very excited to have some new members on here, and we'll just keep going with our agenda. And again, the incoming board members, the nominees, you can stay if you'd like to see how some of it works, or if you've got other things that you have to do today, we totally understand. And they're not part of our voting board, but you can stay on. So we're just going to pop on to our executive team reports. I don't have anything really to report specifically that's not already on the agenda. Scott, do you have anything that you wanted to report? The only thing that I would really like to do is to thank Scott verbally here in front of everyone and officially, because Scott has gone above and beyond since the pandemic to really make sure that class had a rudder and was going in a good direction. I know he and Kate put a lot of time specifically during the pandemic to make sure that we were quickly pivoting from what was entirely an online program into a totally in-person program to a totally online program. And that had to happen like March 14th overnight, like everything else did. And Scott, it's supposed to be a 2-year term for presidents. It was a 1-year term, actually, I think, when he started. And now he's been doing it for 5 years. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate him being here and for keeping this whole thing going and believing in it enough to really commit to that. Yeah, so it was Yeah, Scott's been absolutely great. Exactly, John. I couldn't agree more. So thank you, Scott, for that. And do you have anything that you'd like to say or any other reports?
First of all, thank you for the very kind words, Taylor. And it wouldn't be the same if we didn't have this team together to glue it all together and keep it together. So it's been an amazing run. I really don't have anything to report. I'm going to hope that you'll be able to just talk about the grants that we talked about last week, Taylor, and maybe just share that piece of it. Other than that, I really don't at this time.
All right, sounds great. At every meeting that we have, we always state that Kate is a contracted worker and then she is also a member of the board. So sometimes when things come up about Kate that is about her compensation or anything like that, she abdicates from voting for that, and so the lines don't get crossed. She's very good about managing that role, and we just have to state that every time that she is on the board, but she is also a paid employee. Treasurer is de facto me. Um, inside of your agenda, there is a link on there for the class report, the financials for that. I'll pop that into the chat right now. So that Google Doc that I just put in there, that is our financial report. And bank statements are uploaded into our drive, and you can have access to those if you would like to see them. We don't have them public because it has, banking information on it. But anyone can look at our financial report, and if you want to bring that up, um, I'm a big fan of the spreadsheet, as you can tell. So we've got an actual, plotted out, moving left to right, month over month. Here's what our bank accounts were at the beginning of the month, the bank accounts at the end of the month. These are consistent with our statements. And then also all of the things that we had for income or for expenditures over the last year. And it's all totaled up on the right-hand side. So it's going left to right. I started it in December just because we don't have all of our December information when we have our December board meeting. So this is accurate through today. So there was a payment that went out today. So that's the only thing that we have showing up in December. And so you'll see the balance sheet is the first tab, and then the second tab on the bottom of this is the budget. So I actually created a numbers-based budget on what we actually spent this year, what we had as actual income this year, and created a rough budget for our 2026, because as a board, we should be able to approve a budget for the following year. And you can see that the bulk of our expenses comes for the services that Kate provides. Really, the operational part of this is online management of our mail systems and our emailing systems and our payment database. So that kind of we have Donor Box, which controls all of our membership and takes the money from people who sign up for memberships. And then we have MailChimp, which is our database that manages the emails that we send out. Then we have Wix, which is our website. And then we have it's MailChimp, Wix, and DonorBox. So those are our three major technologies that get updated with information and help organize all of this. And then we have obviously Google that we use to use as our calendar and our email. So that's all budgeted in there. And you can see that this year we won't have any payments for Wix because we're in a 3-year program. So we paid for both of our domain and our web hosting services through Wix, and that's the 3-year plan. So we won't have those as budget items for the next 2 years. It won't come back around until 2028. So we are applying for the larger Greater White Bear Lake Foundation grant every other year. And Scott, you might want to chime in if I say something wrong here, but I'm going to do my best to paraphrase what we talked about at our executive team meeting. So we apply for that 1750 grant every other year, or that $1,000 grant from them every other year. And then the $750 grant was from Vadnais. And then, so we are looking at what we're going to do for grants in the coming year. So there's some conversation that does happen about whether we're using grant funding for operations or for projects, and what we want to pursue in the coming year for possible grants. If we want to start talking about projects, these are just things that we don't have to like fully explore right now, but just something to put on our radar on what we want next year to look like. Do we want to do a special project or something that's more than our networking and lunch and learns? Do we want to do that in conjunction with something that's already happening? Totally up to us. And do we want to seek grant funding for that, which is why it's germane to our budget. So I created a pretty honest and accurate budget for next year, which is not actually taking into account much in the way of grown membership. It's $25 more, so like one membership more than we had last year for our membership amounts. Our grants, we were talking about maybe seeking like a $500 grant for a project or something like that, maybe through Vadnais Heights like we had in the past. I know Scott has had conversations with the grant manager for the city and said, you know, they're usually project oriented, but really networking is our project, and that's the way it's been discussed and presented. So whether that's something that we want to pursue again next year, or a different opportunity for a grant. So you can see on our estimated income for next year, we have estimated expenses for next year, and then if all of those things panned out exactly as that, we would have a balance, a net income of $209.10. We are a small operation. We run lean and we run with volunteers. So that's not a bad thing, but that also means we've got a pretty nice balance inside of our account already. We'll be ending the year with about $1,938.19 in our account. So we are solvent in that way, and we could survive the entire year if we had no income, but we are going to have some income, so that's good. So we're going to have our membership drive coming in January, which is when we just send out emails and ask people to sign up again to support us. We are a very affordable organization. It's $25 for an individual to join us, and we have pretty good responses for that, and we can reach out to folks about if they're not re-upping, we can make a plan to individually communicate with them and see if they'd be willing to, or if it just slipped by them and they happened to not sign back up. So
Taylor, did you want us to be looking at something? Were you screen sharing something?
did anyone not get it? Oh, am I just talking? I'm talking.
No, I can see it.
Oh, I can't see it. Okay, well, I don't know what's happening.
It's in the chat. It's
in the chat. I'm sorry. I thought
the link. I dropped the link in the chat.
I got it.
It's the most recent one that came up at 1:59 p.m.
Thank you. Question, how many members do we have right now? Maybe that would be nice for the board, the incoming board people to be aware of. How many paying members do we have? Do we have a guesstimate just to give a perspective?
I'm sure we do. Katie, do you have a guesstimate of that? We have an exact number that I can look up, but
well, just in general, like, are we 25, 45, 85?
I can grab, I think we have a list of our current members.
Yeah, we do.
So, right. So then when we think of a new year, potentially that would be a group of renewals to generate revenue if these grants and pieces that are variables they're more like a bonus to keep if we wanted to
go. Yeah. Let's see here.
On top of membership. Because really, when you think of a grant, $1,000 every other year, that's just pretty minimal.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a number off I should have looked that up. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay.
I don't know.
Maybe in January.
It would be inside donor box, I'm sure. I did download it though.
I think all of our members are probably updated on the website too. I can count quick.
Okay. Thank you. We're highly technical in this regard.
See, we just demonstrated it takes a village, and we are one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
go ahead.
I will also say that we just had another payment come through and we have one that I haven't added, Katie. So whatever number you get, just add two to that.
Super.
Well, that'll change my financials a little bit, but that's good in a good way, in the best possible way.
Yeah.
So then that is 48, but I don't know if anyone's listed in multiple categories. I didn't look that close.
Okay. That's awesome.
So 40-ish.
Super.
There we go. Yes. And so if anyone has any input or questions, thoughts about either the balance sheet or the proposed budget, feel free, open for discussion. All
At some
right.
point, we can talk about another mashup. We only did one this year. So for those of you who don't know, I have a networking group also. We do the learning and the networking all in one. And we have done twice a year a mashup with class and the group that I facilitate. And of course, there's some crossover, but so that people can expand their network. A year ago, we did one twice a year. This year we were just all of us, I think, overwhelmed with everything going on. So we did one last April and did not do one this October. So at some point, we should talk about doing that again. That should be kind of a net, like a zero, what's the word I'm thinking of? Anyway, because I generally cover lunch and there really isn't any other expense. So that should be not, I'm not sure that needs to be part of the budget even, but at some point we should look at what Wednesdays the class meetings would be so that we can plan for one of those to be the joint meeting.
Yep, we do. We have an agenda item coming up that's talking about events,
Okay.
planning events. So
Okay.
yeah, for sure, we'll bring up that list and see if any of those dates are in line with what you're kind of thinking. And yeah, we love the mashup events. They're so fun and really gets everybody energized. I love those events. So thank you very much for sponsoring our lunch and the county for doing that.
I love feeding people.
It's the best. Everybody
It
loves
is.
a
It is.
meal. All right. So any other thoughts or discussion on finances or the budget? Because if not, then I would entertain a motion to accept the budget for 2026.
I would make that motion.
All right. The motion made by John Slade. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Allie Lucan has a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The budget passes for 2026 and the financials are approved. All right. Getting very Roberts rulesy in here.
Um,
Oh,
Meeting pause. I think my dog thinks that there's a creature in this room. So
oh
I have to
no.
run away.
Uh-oh.
We have a ghost in the wall. So.
Could be
Unexpected.
a little
If we
critter.
see him go bouncing by, that's what's going on.
He was just whining at the wall, so that's fine. Just regular stuff that happens.
So I like the aside. It's perfect. Meg's the best. Okay, so then Scott, do you have anything that you want to add to the grants and other income conversation? We have it as a separate agenda item, but is there anything that you want to add?
Yeah, nothing more than what has already been talked about. I unrelated here, I did see that we just got another donation from a new member, Gable Pines, in the amount of $100 that came through. So every little bit helps.
Awesome. All right. Kate, is that the one that you saw?
Yes, that one it just came through that we talked about, and then we also had another one come up the other day from uh someone by the name of Christine Sologny, I think is how you pronounce her name, and she's with We Care Transitions.
Great. Awesome. All right. John, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah. Yeah. Am I on?
We can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay. The St. Paul and Minnesota Foundations just had, or the St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation, which is also connected to the Bigelow and the Mardag Foundations, just redid all of their grant uh, assignments and making. And they have a community solutions grant that is a 1 year grant. It's kind of biggish. Um, Health and Human Services are part of what gets granted. So if I would throw that down, particularly if we as the board want to get a project going that takes a little bit more money that could do that. I think that would be another. Just wanted to throw that in.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, so being on the lookout for grants, if people are in like the nonprofit space and you see things that might be a good connection or an opportunity for a project, fantastic. I think that it would be great if, like, at our annual meeting on January 14th, if we had a little bit more discussion about this. So, laying groundwork today to say, okay, in January, let's maybe talk about what we're doing in the next year, and if there's something that we're looking forward to, or if we have an idea that really we want to run with. We can talk about it at the January 14th meeting. I think that's a great opportunity to start heading in that direction if anyone has something they really want to set fire to in a good way. Set ablaze. All right. Katie, anything from you? Secretary?
Nothing new. The link to our running board agenda notes is in your agenda, and I am typing in it now, so you can watch me try to take notes and listen at the same time if you want. We also have like recordings and some of those sorts of things are posted on the website as usual. That's all.
Thank you. All right. I just wanted to pop the running board agenda notes in there in case somebody wants to take a look at it. All right. We're going to move on to 2026 board succession planning. So we changed our bylaws this year to have change the president's role into a co-presidency of an incoming and an outgoing president. So it's the first year you're the incoming president, second year the outgoing president. So I will be the outgoing president in 2026, and so we're looking for a incoming president, and I asked Jess if she would be willing to join me in the co-presidency, and she said that she would be interested in that. And I'm very excited about this because she is clearly a leader because she has 7 children, and you can't have 7 children and not be a leader. She also is a veteran, and so she has all of these wonderful skills that she is putting into use in her career, that she's when she's come back into the workforce, when she's like just running at helping veterans to better understand what they're entitled to because of their service. And there's so many senior veterans that I just feel like this is such a great fit, and we have complementary skills that we can bring into this. And I'm very, very excited to nominate Jess Pearson as our incoming president for the 26-27 years.
That was a very sweet nomination.
Well, I'm just stating facts. So, Jess, are you willing to accept the nomination for the co-president?
I do. I accept.
Yay! All right. Thank you very much. We're very excited to have you. So we have a succession plan for that. And I saw like listed on Katie, I saw listed on the succession plan that you had put Scott Olson as our future treasurer. Is that something you had
Not on
talked about?
purpose.
You hadn't talked to him about that? Okay. I was like, because here was my plan. Because I've kind of become our de facto treasurer, is after my outgoing year as president, I would just stay on as treasurer after that because all the accounts are in my name, and or I'm on the accounts, and it's now I've got a system, and I've got the accounting for it. So I'm happy to do that upon my departure after 2026. But until then, co-presidenting until then. All right. And
Thank you,
then I think,
Taylor.
yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
said,
Scott.
thank you, Taylor.
You bet, Scott. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're so sick. We're happy you're here, but you sound terrible. And I'm so
Yeah.
sorry that you sound terrible. Oh.
Scott needs to go back to bed when we're done here.
Yeah, right, right. Well, he needs to stay through the vote. So, at this point, we're going to have the potential members. This is your invitation to depart. I'm not kicking you out, but you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Is where we are right now. So, Allison, thank you. Deb, thank you. I think Laura already left. So we will have a vote from our board members and I'll send you an email afterwards telling you how it went. I'm feeling optimistic. Thanks so much.
Taylor, should we also formally have current board members tell us that they are staying on for next year, the ones that we aren't voting on necessarily?
Yes. Do you know, can you open that real quick? I just don't have it
Yep.
open in front of me to which ones are up for reelection in the
Yes.
biennial cycle.
Yep. This one. My tiny laptop screen. Okay, so there are our nominations, and one of these tabs. So people we are who are not on that list are current board members who will be moving into their second year of the 2-year term. If that makes sense. So I guess if there's anybody on this meeting currently on the board who does not plan to or isn't able to join us again in 2026, now's your time.
So it looks like from what I'm looking at, is it just Jess and Scott who are re-upping this year?
Yeah. Yep. I just like arbitrarily put everyone in as second year because they were on this year for sure, and I didn't know when people really started. So
okay.
So do you want me to go off the board? I'll do whatever people need me to do.
No. You're in a 2-year term, but I just alternated, so we're not voting in a whole new board when it comes around.
So that
you thought we'd let go of you, Lynn?
I'm amenable to whatever it takes. I'm a middle child. I build consensus.
No, we have space for all of the potential new people, and then I just kind of alternated so we don't have full turnover as that comes around.
Yes, that all makes sense. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So just voting in the people whose term was up and they're coming back in. So that is Jess and Scott. And then the slate of the new board members are on there as well. So I would entertain a motion to approve the slate if anyone would like to make it. Anybody?
I can make that motion.
All right.
I can second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The slate has passed. Thank you very much. Yay. And then we're going to have a separate vote on our incoming co-president so we got Jess back on the board, right? Or no,
we put her.
She's part of the slate.
Incoming. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So she's also in there as the incoming president. Thank you very much. All right. Great. Yay. I love when people are excited about joining. All right. Moving forward. Okay, to the 2026 class schedule. So, this is just an opportunity to kind of talk about what we want to do. Kate, do you want to talk a little bit about this? You put some comments in there and we talked about it. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so to the point of us having like a little bit of a fund balance, there are potential activities that class can do with the membership fees and those sorts of things that we collect. We had talked about if we want to have like a bigger celebration at our annual meeting, um, do something in person and have potentially have a like speaker or something there, or we if that's just like a bigger party but kind of kick off 2026 that way is an option. I had meant to look to see if the Commons was available if we wanted to be over there. I can look. So that was just an idea if we want to have, a bigger invitation that way. From our last board meeting, we also had a note of potentially using class funds to get booth spaces at some of the like health fairs and stuff that come up, for member organizations to be represented who maybe can't attend or can't pay those booth fees individually and that kind of thing. So that's what those notes are. If anyone has thoughts or yays or nays on those.
Can you give me any ideas on what has been done in the past, maybe before COVID, or I guess, I don't know, any ideas on what an event or a party or a thing that has happened outside of what we're doing now?
What
Well,
we previously did last, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kate.
What we previously did in years past is we met up at Olive Garden and had kind of a dinner gathering there. I remember, and it no longer exists, that we had a group that met at Mad Jack's as part of their annual meeting. So it's generally been at some sort of restaurant venue where we all have a chance to kind of meet and collaborate. Lynn, is there something that goes further back?
Nope. I was going to give a little history on the other side of that information as far as you mentioned like maybe sharing booths together at community events, things like that. Prior to COVID, I don't know if they're starting to come back. A lot of communities did what was almost like an intergenerational community event that as a whole, like, it wasn't usually a huge fee, but let's say we didn't all, as individual service providers, see the value of having a whole table. I remember doing this. There was something at the high school through community ed. There was something at the Vadnais Heights Dome when it was that. I mean, there was a couple community-wide events that we got to collectively share a table and sort of staff it, but we could individually, like then participants or family members or caregivers, younger generation could come to the table at sort of a community event and it not be about just talking to other professionals, but sharing what we do in sort of like a one-stop shop. Like maybe 4 or 5 of us could have our brochures out at one table and talk about how in this community these are ways that seniors are served. It's not a comprehensive, and then we could share the cost to class. I mean, if it was a $50 thing or it wasn't about class being, but families like to know that we are working together as organizations and that we're serving them in more of a collaborative way. And so those are things that we had done prior to COVID. I don't think we've done anything since. But I was recently like at the YMCA and the senior center in White Bear. Those things are existing. And I just wonder if we don't want to think about the costs of those usually aren't super high. If we don't want to maybe just even budget for one to just be to try it next year to say, and one of us maybe if we know of one, spearheads that just to see. I think there's value in many of our organizations maybe don't have budgets for that. So then we sort of it's one of the perks of being a member that maybe you're an organization that because a lot of organizations can afford it, but I guess I don't want to assume that some of the smaller ones can. And so that was something that was more of a shared space in the effort of, like someone mentioned earlier, serving seniors better. Like, it's not about our one organization. It's not about, I need to get all the clients or serve all the people. It's how we collectively, as an organization, noticing that we need to be in. I mean, is there somewhere in our communities that we're noticing we could make a difference if we were to show up that way, or things like that, or if we know of something in our respective organizations that there could be value. Yeah.
And then Scott, wasn't there right before, like just before the pandemic, wasn't there going to be like we had a speaker that we were going to bring in a speaker who was going to be, yeah, go ahead, Scott. I can see you're unmuted.
Or if I want to save, Scott, if you want to save your voice, I can keep talking.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Okay. So at the Wiper Lake Theater, Lakeshore Players, we were working with some of the local organizations. They were going to host. We were going to bring in some legislative. There was somebody from ARP coming, and we were doing that. It's when we were really pushing for the age-friendly initiatives that were coming through at that time, and they did pass. I mean, the age-friendly state of Minnesota, things like that went through, but we were previewing that and bringing in sort of the perspective of launching of age friendly in the Northeast Metro, sort of like, and how are the organizations respectively that are part of class. So it was a partnership with a lot of there was, I think the theater was, the art center was part of, I mean, there was a lot of real local support. So that momentum may not still be there. There's lots of new players in that community, but sort of how we're all age friendly. Like the theater was going to talk about how they have sensory friendly lights, different things that create that space of, this is what all the businesses are doing, and this is what, the cool kids. I mean, this is what we want to aspire towards, is sort of.
And who was the target attendee for that? Like, who were you hoping was going to
Yeah,
come to?
good question. Scott, you may remember this more than I do, because I'm remembering it being community members, but then also a lot of the existing, as a result of what you mentioned, that survey and all that, there was a lot of tentacles. Matamidi School District was involved. There was sort of that. There was a lot of faith communities that were involved. So there was a lot of layers of how to be age friendly. It wasn't just specifically even senior. It was really age friendly in general. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was going to be community members as well, and caregivers and service providers.
All of it.
It was kind of our opening up the doors, and that we had the four pillars, which was the dementia friendly, transportation, housing, and then the fourth one was aging in community. And that year was going to have four different events. April was the first one that Lynn was just talking about. And then sometime in June was going to be transportation. And I had lined up MnDOT, um, Mo Metro Mobility, Nutrax, Uber, Lyft, and they were all going to be present at the old South Campus High School. We were going to use their parking lot. It was going to be a demonstration of getting people out to see, what is it like to ride a bus? What would your experience be for you to board this? And so we were going to have all things transportation related. And then John was in charge of what would have been our housing. But we just never got to that because of COVID.
So you can see, like, the scope of these were pretty big. Like it was like community events that put people directly in contact with services and all that. So I mean, to kind of bring it back to your question, Jess, which was, what are examples of things that we have ideas for, or what? There's a range. I mean, it's from getting a table at an event, which is a pretty easy lift, to planning a large community event. And I know like just if as we're spitballing through it, I know that you have a large commitment to the veteran community, and there's a lot of services that veterans have access to that maybe they don't know how to fully leverage. And that if that's something you're excited about, something, if you have an idea for that, something we could explore. John, I see your hands raised. What's up?
Yeah, the just hitting um so one of the things in all of those events, and one thing that we've talked about is, are we trying to talk to people who serve seniors or seniors directly? And in these bigger events, I think that that was trying to go from our core, which is people who serve seniors, and that's who, that's the center, and then reaching out into, seniors directly. So for housing, what are, um, you know, uh, realtors who get empty nesters into something else. What are the various levels of affordable housing? What are the housing options that folks have? These are things that seniors would want. Also, caregivers, like family caregivers, are also groups that we were talking about back then, about trying to reach out to and to serve a little bit more.
Yeah, excellent. So yeah, it's kind of like you sort of have to find out what your goal is in that, and what you want to do, and just come up with an idea and see if you can get, support for it. And again, this is a volunteer small organization. So when we talk about, putting on an event, we have to find people who have the bandwidth for it, and how much time can we commit to it as a group and as individuals. So there's things to consider there, but there's a lot of opportunities, I think, as well for projects of different scales. So any other thoughts or discussion on that? If you look at the event planning spreadsheet that Katie sent, she dropped it into the chat recently. You can see some dates on there. Um, I think there's a little bit of I don't know. We're all Minnesotans again. We're not made of sugar, but if we turn the annual meeting in January into an in-person meeting, January is a dicey time in Minnesota. It's kind of a hard month to get out. I mean, it's like one of the months that you want to zoom into something, right? Um, but I am totally open to any idea for creating an in-person event that sort of reflects what we did in the past, which was the what we did at the OG at the Olive Garden, and just having that was kind of like a happy hour networking and reconnecting event, which was a lot of fun to do. And it's not an expensive lift. We like the last time we did it, Mueller Memorial ended up paying for the appetizers because it was
Nice.
just a way for us to sponsor the event.
Where did you say those dates were? I'm not in the.
They're all
Um,
linked in the agenda, but I'll put
Oh,
it
it's
in.
part of the agenda. Okay, thank you. Nope, I got it.
Um, I would propose, what if we did like an afternoon? So like if travel is sticky in the morning in January, getting to somewhere by 8:30 feels like I might skip that. Um, and we plan something that's in person, like a 2 to 4 or something that works for people. And then if the weather is bad, we say it will be virtual because we don't want to show up as
when
kind of
we
the backup.
When we did the OG thing at the restaurant at the I say OG the Olive Garden gathering, it was an evening thing. It was after hours. So if is that something, I don't know, does anyone have any opinion on that? If we did something at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 to 6, and you come and say hi, or what do you think?
For me
So,
personally, I have so many back-to-back clients that I wouldn't likely be able to make a daytime work. So that would be something that's a barrier for me. Doesn't mean that I don't think it's a good idea for that time. I just wouldn't be able to attend.
For
for
which
me,
time?
For the afternoon 2 to 4 time, I could do an evening more easily than I could a daytime.
Okay.
And see, for me, I'm like the opposite of Kate with kids. My evenings are pretty booked. So an afternoon where I could sneak out of work an hour too early to come to something like this would be more beneficial for me. But that's a personal thing, right? Like I have children, that's my fault, right?
How
Or
dare
we
you?
could blame my husband. One of the two. No, just kidding.
Yeah, but I think the other side of that coin is that we have lunch and learns during the daytime, so we have afternoon events throughout the year. We don't have anything in the evening. So this might be an opportunity to do like one thing in the evening and see if it works. What do you think, Katie?
I mean, as a selfish millennial, I like you all, but this is work for me. Um, I am paid to attend, so if I was scheduling it, I would do a daytime thing, but also it's one day, so I can sacrifice.
Well, and I think
I
kind of
would
if
make it
we
work.
cover the cusp of it and just say, I mean, we could even do it like 3:30 to 5:30 or something like that, 3:30 to 6. And I wouldn't mind staying afterwards because, it's not a big deal for me. I don't have kids to get back to, but then it creates an opportunity for kind of both to come.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So if it's like within work hours, you can be done by 5 and skedat if you want
Yeah.
to. And then if it's someone who has to wait until the end of the workday, you can come and be present. And hopefully we get most people there between like 4:30 or 4 and 5 or
Mhm.
4 and 5:30. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Okay. Yeah. So do we want to do that for the January event? So because I mean, that's something we got to decide now.
Yeah, I guess my question, if we do something that's more like fluid time, do we have like if there is an agenda, like when do we do the business of the meetings so that we get people involved with it? Because if you've got
Yes,
people kind of coming and
yeah,
going,
we're
then
doing
that's
this in place of a
harder.
meeting, right? Because we don't meet again until March.
It's not a board meeting. There's no voting.
No,
It's
right.
just
Okay. So there
yeah.
isn't a meeting though until March so really there would be 3 months. Okay.
And it's officially by our bylaws, it's the class annual meeting is the
Yep.
January meeting. So we'll present our new board members and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think that like any kind of programming we would I don't know, I'm open to time suggestions. Just meet the board from this time to this time, like 4:30.
4:30. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Yeah. So let's say we do the thing from like 3:30. It starts at 3:30. I will stick around until 6:30 because I am deeply committed to, oh my gosh.
What's going
As I
on?
was about to say, I'm deeply committed to being in Hawaii that day.
Oh, you're in Hawaii.
January 12th to the 18th, so I will not be here. But yeah, hopefully there's someone who could be there until late. Dang it.
I could
Oh.
stay late. I only have a needy dog that wants me to come home.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. So have someone stay until like 6. So then we have like 3:30 to 6, and we plan on doing this is January 14th, Wednesday, January 14th. Well, now I'm sad.
And so are we saying that this is something that class is paying for, or this is BYO? I mean, I don't. Oh, do we need to decide that?
So beverages, cocktails, things like that is
Yep.
BYO.
Yep.
What we did in the past was we just ordered appetizers, and I think
Sure.
it
Yep.
came out to end up being like $60 or something
Yeah.
like
Okay.
I think with tip it was less than 100 because I just picked up the tab from Mueller Memorial and I was like, we got this.
Okay.
And it was an additional donation to our class. But
Cool.
so we definitely have the budget to support that. So let's put that out there as 3:30 to 6 OG and or do we want to do it at the Olive Garden? Let's talk about location. That's where we did it and it was fun, but in Maplewood.
I'm a big fan of keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Me too. And they're very nice about it. And it's like, it's not a busy time for them. So they give us a table in the kind of back area. And then we just, you know, get our own drinks and then just put all the food on one thing. Unless somebody wants to order a meal for themselves, they certainly can.
Super.
For a quorum, how many do you need? Because if we're supposed, I won't be able to be there at 4:30. Well, I have a child. I have two children that need to be on opposite sides on Wednesday nights. So
We don't need a quorum for that one.
Nope, no quorum needed. And yes, Scott says we're doing White Castles. John,
He can be
it's
doing
not for
White
the booze.
Castles.
We don't cover the booze. We don't use grant money for booze. We don't cover the booze. People are in charge of their own booze. Soft drinks can be covered. Yes. Okay. So if you get a soda, we'll cover that. But then other than that, we did vote in the new board members. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we're all good to go. Okay. So I think that's great. And then looking forward, do we want to make a decision about Wednesday, November 18th and that lunch and learn moving to a different day because that is Veterans Day. And I think that a lot of people aren't working that day.
Well,
And
so the 11th is Veterans Day. 18th
Oh.
would be if we moved it the week after, which I
Oh.
had the thought of. I don't know if Julia, is that when yours would be?
Hold on, I'm not at the right tab here. Hold on. All right, what was the date?
So November 18th of 26, would you have one of your meetings that day?
Well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I can shift them. They're not written in stone, so.
Because we could potentially move the regular pattern, the class lunch and learn would end up being on Veterans Day, which feels like not
Yeah, no,
probably
we
our
don't
best
work
move.
on Veterans Day.
So we could potentially move it the week before or after. I don't
Okay,
have
hold on.
like a strong opinion about that.
would that be a possibility to do a mashup?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We could do it on the 4th, we could do it on the 18th, we could do it on the except for Veterans Day when I will not be working. That's up to you all. I'm flexible.
Yeah.
I like the idea of doing the mashup that day.
Is there value in having maybe a mashup the week before Veterans Day if people have like Veterans Day happenings that they want to share?
Good point.
It's the 4th.
Oh, that's
Whatever
the day
you all
after the
want to do.
election might also be.
It depends on how it goes. Some of us might be taking to our beds.
Let's go with November 18th.
Yeah, it might be a late night on that Tuesday night.
Yeah. Yeah. November 18th it is, and we will call that our mashup.
Nice. And so one of the other things while you're typing that in there, Katie, is we would like to have board members kind of take on certain events. So like to kind of make it so it's not just the executive team having to be at all of the things, kind of distributing the responsibility amongst board members. We don't have three of our board members here right now that will be on our board next year. So I would say that we kind of look at maybe the first couple of them and then put this out to everybody on the board and say, hey, what's an event that you can take responsibility for, or just be kind of the person we know is going to be there representing class and helping to organize. Is that fair? Do that by email?
Yeah.
I think so. Okay, excellent. So let's do that. Membership drive timeline. That's on the. Do you want to talk about that, Katie?
Yeah, we had just there was a note in our last minutes also to kind of launch membership drive at the annual meeting and then kind of give people through mid-February to re-up those. Otherwise, we consider them like expired. Does that sound good to everyone?
I think that's a good timeline. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to clarify, would that be a time for us to have a separate meeting just to make sure that the website has all the correct current members? Just because I would want to make sure that we were accurately reflecting membership for the new year. And we've had some people who have signed on at the end of the year, so I would just want to have maybe an offline from the board discussion about how we want that to look on the website.
Yeah, and I mean, I would offer other board members may have a different feeling about this, but if somebody signs up in November or December, I feel like they're probably good for 26. But we can decide how strict we want to be on that, I guess. Kind of that like fourth quarter add-on if we just kind of let them roll that over for a year.
Yeah. And I think we'll probably like add them to the website in January, so it's not like they're reaping all the benefits right now. So I think maybe, yeah, just review membership stuff in January, or I mean, if we put them on the website in December and they get an extra month, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're cool. We're cool. If that is a definitive and not at all wishy-washy answer.
Oh, and I have the dates for the Healthy Aging Network meeting. It will be a different link. So when I have that new link, I will send that to you all and we can do what you want.
Great.
Put it on the website, whatever.
Super. But the way it's looking right now, Julia, you're not thinking that our meetings are in conflict with yours, the ones that we're
No.
on.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
Super. All right. Good,
And
good.
like I
Glad.
said, I can adjust if need be, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't want to make your job more complicated. All right. Any other thoughts or any other new business that we need to address?
I'm just wondering, since our next board meeting is not till March, if anyone has ideas for the February lunch and learn also that we can toss out there and get that started, that would be really helpful.
Are the dates on the for 2026 on the website yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's also a question. If there's any other like dates or things, we can maybe just have the board approve like the dates and the type of meeting that we have on each one, and then we can advertise those with like location to be determined.
Yeah, and we do have all the like on the events page that you sent us the link. We have some people down below it, right? That are kind of
Yeah.
people who said they've raised their hands and said we would be willing to do that. I know, was it Jordan from um was it not Shalom? Was she Shalom?
Good
Good
Sam.
Samaritan. Yeah.
Good Samaritan, that's it.
Mm.
From Good Samaritan was talking about hosting something, or yeah, we've
Yeah, and
got some people.
that list is all from this year's stuff, but I figure we can tap back at people too. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah, we're always, I mean, we've always got space here for, at the funeral home, but I've presented each year so far. So, there is, I mean, we could do something that's more focused on like veterans benefits or something like that, but I don't know if that's something that service providers want to hear about so much. I don't know, maybe they do. Um, but we can always do something here, but I would love to, switch it up, see if there's anybody
do we
else.
know if there are, I am not in the nonprofit world, but would there be like uh is that a good time for like the 2026 like provider grant review sort of thing? I feel like Trellis has done that for us before of like here's upcoming funding, kind of a like state of the funding sort of update.
Uh, excuse me. People have grant cycles that are not necessarily on anybody else's grant cycle. Aside from calendar year is roughly for some grantors. But it's I don't feel like there's a industry-wide, festival of grant timing from my perspective, having written grants for 10, 15 years.
Well, we could talk to Sarah about that and see if she has some input. I mean, if that's kind of what you were thinking, Katie.
Yeah, just kind of like we're in a new year. Here's some kind of upcoming stuff might make sense.
Yeah. Well, we always
We
have,
can maybe, I can see, we had talked this year and then that also didn't really come around, but we could potentially have like the county commissioner panel, see if we can have a couple of them, like, here's what's going on in the county right now, kinds of things. And then maybe a funding arm from Trellis too.
yeah.
I can work on that and see if people are available.
Okay. Well, we'll always have a venue. Like we can always come here or like, well, we can figure that out. But if that comes to fruition, I think that would be awesome.
Okay.
Okay, I
Right.
have a quick question, sort of to get the zeitgeist here. So as I'm looking at the calendar for this coming year, one of the meetings for my group would be March 25th, and I'm going to be on jury duty, potentially. And the other is on tax day. So I'm wondering if anybody would be uncomfortable if I just switch my meeting to the first Wednesday of the month. Does anybody have any problem with that? Just from now on.
Doesn't conflict with anything on our schedule,
Okay.
I don't think.
That's what we're gonna do. Not for January, but
None of those look like
it's
the
just
first Wednesday.
complicated. It's just complicated. Well, not for January. What's the first Wednesday of January? I should not say that before I look.
First Wednesday of January is the 7th.
7th. Okay. Then we should be good.
Yeah.
All right. I will switch that. Thank you. That's helpful.
You betcha. So except for Wednesday, November 18th, which will be our mashup.
Yes.
Do we want two mashups next year? Do we just pick one, or do we make that an annual event?
People loved it.
Yeah.
People loved it. I don't think it would be bad to do it more than once.
I mean, we could do it on our Wednesday, May 13th is a lunch and learn, and we could do that as a mashup instead.
That's good. I like it. What does everybody else think?
That puts us with two lunch and learns and two mashups. That kind of works.
I think that's awesome.
Where is that going?
And then we end up with 3 networking. I kind of think that's a good balance.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. 3.5, because the annual meeting is a networking meeting, sort of too. So, yeah. Great. Love it.
Cool.
All right.
We can always host a networking. July is just really hard for me because that's the middle of summer camp. So I am not around. But we just have that possibility. The lunch and learns we have our fitness classes in a room, so lunch and learns would be really hard for me to host. But if we need for networking space, we can try to figure something out here.
Wow. Love it. Thank you. That's great. Noted. All right. And so then we will just Julia will start coordinating with you offline to figure out locations for the May one.
Yep.
We did the last one at the library and the one before that.
Yeah, Roseville Library. The one before that was at the church in Roseville, I think.
Yeah. It's Prince of Peace. POP.
Yep.
All right. So that's great. We'll start working on that. Any other new business or action items? We've got about 3 minutes left.
One thing it's already 3 o'clock. I will try to send out our monthly newsletter today. So if anyone has December happenings or early January, send those my way.
Allie does. Allie needs attention.
Wait, I couldn't click my button quick enough. We don't have anything like to advertise, but we are offering silver sneakers still. The YMCA is dumping it, and I believe Lifetime is dumping it as well. But we are still offering the silver sneakers, so the senior discount through your insurance program. I don't know if you just want to throw something in there, But like I said, we don't have any like advertisement. There's nothing that I can like send you. But if you're looking for a little space filler, you could throw something like that in there. Because I know that's been our phones have been ringing off the hook. So if people are looking, yes, we are still one of the very few places that are continuing to offer it.
Okay, cool.
All right. Any other new business, any other action items, things that we need to discuss? Hearing none. The community liaison updates, anything else from Julia? We got
I
Meals on
don't think
Wheels, we
so.
got
I'm probably forgetting something, but
Ashes.
yeah.
Well, we're all signed up for the email, so you
Yes.
can let us know. Yeah.
Yes.
It is possible that Tracy Scheimek has new bosses coming down the pike, and or a new city hall in White Bear Lake. She may, if anybody knows Tracy, she may be able to say to her bosses, "Hey, y'all should help me reach out to class more often," and that might be possible.
I've talked to Tracy a couple of times. Her and I both end up on a lot of these sorts of things. And I think it mostly is just like she isn't sure exactly like what we need of a community liaison, and then like to make that a priority is tough when there's not like an ask from her. So if there, I think she's willing to like pop into a meeting if she's available, if there's like something we need from her. So
Okay, great. So we are all set. So board meeting schedule is set for next year. Annual meeting is happening on the 14th at Olive Garden. I'm going to be so depressed to not be there because it's my favorite. Any other business or anything? Otherwise, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
I motion to
So
adjourn.
we have a motion and we have a thumbs up second from John. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hey,
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you everyone for being
Thank
here, and
you.
we'll see you, if not in January or February, in March.
Bye,
happy
guys. Happy
holidays,
holidays.
everybody.
I hope you feel
Yeah, you
better,
get better.
Scott.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.